I was in a really good frame of mind. Like I was very very relaxed and not really caring the world, but very focused. And when we started, we lined up. I started on the left, and the other kind of half, or the other top 20 guys. So maybe 10 of the top 20 guys were lined up left, 10 lined up right, which I was surprised by because I thought there was a bit of a current. And then it turned out it was actually the current was going back out to sea, and it favoured them a little bit, but it didn't make much of a difference. But we dived in. First thing that happened was my goggles rolled off my head, so they rolled up into your eyes, and I had to make a decision whether or not I was going to stop and take them off or try and put them back on. And I decided, right, I better do it now if I'm going to do it at all. So I said, look, I'll put them back on, and then just hopefully the chaos of the start of the swim, I'll be able to kind of catch back up. So that's what I did. I stopped, I emptied them out, put them back on, and I managed to get back onto the group, or the back of the group, by the time we got up to the first buoy. And I made my way up a little bit, and then I got swamped at the first buoy. But yeah, it happens. And European Cups, typically it's more prevalent to have a bit more violence in the swim, just because the fields are usually bigger. There's a higher capacity allowance in them, and a lot of the time it's younger guys that haven't yet had the experience and don't really have that awareness in the water, so they're a bit more on edge. So the rest of the swim, it was okay. I just did what I could. Came out of the water, still pretty far back, but not as back as it could have been. And there was a guy that came out, a Norwegian guy that was just in front of me as we came out of transition, who I kind of marked. I kind of know the guys by now, the kind of top few guys, Andre Espedal, and I got on his wheel, and then once got on to him, we started doing a bit of work with a few others, and there was 4 or 5 distinct groups. So there was the front group, and then the next big group, our group, then a small group behind us, and then kind of stragglers. And it took us about 2 laps to catch back on. Now the bike was very very strong. There was it was a very strong bike field, as in the ability of the bikers. So it was pretty full on for the whole thing, and because it got very narrow and the circuit is quite tight when it comes into the town, it forces you to keep the pace fast, because you want to stay at the front. That happened to be you're at the back and you're sprinting corners, or you want to get to the front for the transition area. So from start to finish, it was full speed, and I was thinking, God, this is. I felt good because I was able to kind of do work to pull back the crew or the groups, but I think how much is this going to take out my legs? Now I haven't been running as well as I said in the past few races, so I did a bit of adjustment in my training to kind of, it's very late in the season, but to do a little bit more of endurance, because I have the speed. My training sessions have been going really really well, but I've been probably lacking in the endurance side. So when I get off the bike, I'm usually just cooked. So anyways, I got off the bike and I was about 15th off, and just started making my way through the group, or through the front of the race on the run over the first 500 meters, and I was thinking, geez, these guys going slow or what? And then it didn't take long to get to the front, and there was maybe a few others, and I was like, okay, you're in good form, and just don't get carried away, settle in a nice speed. Don't burn on your matches, try and just shell them. So that's what I did. And one of the French guys, he came around, and I just sat on him for maybe the rest of the lap. And there was a group of maybe 6 of us. And got on to the second lap. I think he went out a bit quick, so he started to slow down. And I decided, okay, I'll keep the pace where it is. So I just went in front of him, kept the pace high. And second lap put in another bit of a burst, and I think it got rid of a few guys. And then there's a Portuguese and the Swedish guy, who by I think the last lap, that was all that was left. And because I've been beaten here twice before, I decided, okay, just keep a few matches for the sprint. and sprinting wouldn't be my forte. So we got back round to the start finish on the last lap, and it was sort of technical. There was a right hander down the transition area, and then 180 degrees back up to the finishing chute. So I decided, like, if I position myself well, going into the right hand corner, go for the sprint before go for the sprint towards the 180 degrees. He won't be able to come around fast enough, and if he's behind me going around the 180 degrees, it's going to take a lot of power for him to come back around. So that's what I did, and I went for the sprint. But as soon as I sprinted, I opened the gap. So yeah, and then I just from there just enjoyed the moment, and yeah, it was amazing.